Good morning, everyone. It is just about 6 in the morning, and I'm back down in the Blue Mountains for a sunrise photo. Now, when I left my truck this morning, it was just 19 degrees, but up here at elevation, it's quite colder. So that was a good hike up here, and what was really cool is that I was most definitely the first person here in a couple of days. I pretty much, as of right now, have the entire area to myself, and the hike up was one of the most beautiful hikes I've ever done. It was forecasted to have a little bit of clouds this morning, but it's just crystal clear out right now. They recently got a little bit of snowfall here, and because it's so cold, that snow is hardened. And now as I was hiking up, the light from my headlamp here was just causing that snow to sparkle in the most beautiful way. And you actually had to be a little bit careful because you would get into these open sections on the trail, and that glittering light would lead right up to the stars. And because we're a bit far away from the nearest town, about 20 miles or so, a little less, the stars are out in force, and it is just absolutely beautiful. So now that I'm set up, we got a little bit before sunrise, though on the east peak there, I just now start seeing a light. So I'm gonna go ahead, get set up. It's still dark out enough where I can't really find a composition, but I have hiked this area before, so I kind of know what I'm looking for already. So let's go ahead and we'll set you down and get set up, and I don't know, maybe try to get a star shot or two before that sun rises. So for this first scene, the sun is not quite up yet, but behind me is a peak of the mountain that drew my attention from the very first time that I've hiked here. So what I've gone ahead and done is I framed up my composition, and I'm shooting right about f5.6 because I want that mountain to be nice and sharp. But I'm shooting at a higher ISO, around 5,000, to get my shutter speed to about, I'm shooting anywhere from about 8 to 10 seconds. And what that's doing for me is, because I'm at 24 millimeter, I want to freeze those stars. I don't want, in this scene, any star trails because it's just too light out. The Milky Way is already down, and there's really not that much interest in the sky, especially because there's no clouds. But it's still a nice little scene anyway, and I think it's worth just taking a picture of because it's so pretty up here regardless. And I'm just going to kind of mull around here a bit. I'm going to attempt to shoot a time lapse with a little Z50. It's not something I've done before, and I've never shot a time lapse with a sunrise, so it'll be an interesting experience. If it turns out, great. If not, well, like I said, learning experience. Well, that didn't turn out quite the way I wanted to. I was having trouble keeping the scene exposed properly as the sun gets brighter and brighter behind that mountain. So we'll just chalk that one up as a learning experience. Now I'm gonna try to find a different scene. I know if I hike down this trail about another 3 miles, there's a scene down there that does interest me, but there's no way I'm gonna get there before the sun comes up fully. Ooh, I see the little Nikon struggling to keep focus. Still pretty dark out, but so I've already got 2 star shots in the bag already. One with the peak behind me, like I said earlier, then one facing away with that. I'll have to wait till I get home and put those on a computer to see if they turned out well. I think they turned out pretty good, but we'll just have to see when we get home. Now I'm going to try to scout out another location just in this little area here. It's very interesting in this area because it's been logged pretty heavily in the past, and it gives me a lot of white foreground because of that snow. I'll be honest, I'm struggling to find a different scene. I had an idea in mind coming up here, but without those clouds coming up, it's really putting a challenge on things. But you know, I'm hopeful, so let's go ahead and see what else we can find up here. Okay, I think I found a good composition. I'm shooting down the valley where the road winds up through the mountain, but you can't see the road from here. And we are just getting an inkling of light on the far side mountains. So I'm at f11, about a 20-second exposure, ISO 64, shooting at about 40 mil. And I'm just gonna kind of, like I always do, is to take a few different composition as the light changes. I'm waiting for that perfect light to come up. So we'll just go ahead, hang out here for a minute and see what the light does. After taking a couple photos, I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling here a bit. The lack of clouds to really add interest to the sky is, you know, it's a little disappointing, but it just goes to show that, you know, you can check the weather, you can do all the preparation, and you're still just never guaranteed a good shot. So what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to change things up. Behind me, the sun, the light from the sky is starting to reflect on these valleys behind me. So I went ahead and I switched compositions, and now I'm going to concentrate on what's behind me, but I'm still going to keep an eye out for that original shot shooting down that valley where the road is, because you just never know. The sun still hasn't come over the mountain, so the light is still very, very diffuse. But we'll just keep at her and keep cracking on. So I decided to change tactics here a bit. The scene that I'm looking at now, we got a bunch of fallen and dead trees, and that kind of opens up to the sky behind me. It looks like we are now starting to get the clouds that was predicted, and because the sun is directly behind me, or almost directly behind me, what that's doing is creating a very dark sky, and it's contrasting very, very nicely with the white snow in the foreground and with the trees that are all scattered about. Moreover, what is hopefully going to save this little excursion is we are just now starting to get a hint of color, getting that dark blue and just a little bit of that magenta. So this is a scene that I'm going to try to work, and we'll see if that turns out. Look at those colors. Wow. I really did not expect much when I saw there were no clouds out, but man, am I glad I waited. Always wait to see what the light does. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for me in today's adventure. I tell you what, in this cold weather, there's nothing like a fresh hot cup of coffee, even if it is just instant Starbucks. But once again, you know, I really appreciate your guys' support. If this is something that you like, please go ahead, give me a like, a share, a comment down below. And until next time, we'll catch you out there.